On day 1, I poofed into the magical world as a shoe-wearing cat and only 9 hearts. Wait a second, I'm not just any sneakered feline, I'm the Puss in Boots! And I've got 9 lives to prove it! I reached for my hip to unsheath my sword, but my fluffy paws only grasped air. Hurrah! Huh? Where's my rapier? Before I could investigate further, the dastardly villain Big Jack Horner emerged out of the fungus, a henchman standing behind him.
Looking for your sword, Puss? I borrowed it to cut myself a slice of pie earlier. I don't carry knives on me anymore.
Big Jack Horner, stay back! I've got 8 mini swords called my claws, and I'm not afraid to use them.
Didn't you hear, Gato? I've had a redemption arc. I'm no longer Big Jack Horner. I'm big-hearted Jack Horner.
Then who's the henchman with you?
Henchman? I'm a hero now, and heroes don't have henchmen. He's one of my baker's dozens, and because I'm so big-hearted, I give him a dozen compliments every day.
Then why's he got my sword?
Like I said, I don't carry knives anymore. He carries all mine for me.
That doesn't sound very heroic.
You wanna know the lesson I learned after the whole last whisk situation, Puss? I learned I should be more accepting of other people's wishes. So if Butterscott here wishes to chop you into itty-bitty kitty pieces, I'm gonna respect that.
He wishes to what?
Do your thing, Scotchy boy. You're fantastic. And that's compliment number 8 for today.
The henchman started chasing me with my own sword. I made a beeline for the fairy tale forest as fast as my little boots could take me, hoping to survive the night out of sight. Like Herring Horner's gonna beat me with my own sword, but without it, I'm nothing. I need a new rapier. Y rapido! On day 2, I booked it to the fairy tale forest, desperate for another sword to call my own. Jack Horner's no good guy. Where are the real heroes around here? Not counting me, of course, the most famous and fearless of them all. I had to get my ferocious feline anger out, so I took to the trees and battered them like a scratching post. I was able to shave off enough wood to craft myself a wooden pickaxe, then take to the rocks to mine some stone. Like Herring Horner's gonna beat me with my own weapon, I made myself a set of stone tools, a stone pickaxe, and a stone dagger. It's no rapier, but this Catito blade will have to do. I searched for something to test my Catito blade on when I stumbled upon a lake full of salmon. Jack, a good guy? Something's fishy about that, and I will not flounder in the face of evil, but I will have some salmon. I munched my feline flanks into a nice big juicy salmon, but my dinner time was quickly interrupted by dessert.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Why are you repeating the same thing over and over again?
Because we're his henchmen. Jack limits us bakers to only one catchphrase per scene.
And he calls himself a good guy?
He wants all the stingers for himself. Oh, I've already gone 21 words off script. Oh no, now 29. Oh no.
As Jack's henchman occupied himself with his word count, I ran away to build myself a base. This seems like the perfect spot for a humble fairy tale base. I could go for a strong glass of milk right now. I constructed my base until sundown. After a hard day's work, I treated myself to a warm cup of leche before crashing out until morning. On day 3, I awoke to the sound of cackling sweeping high above my base. No wonder I couldn't get a good night's catnap. Some sky-flying hag doesn't know what quiet time means. I trudged to the desert to gather more materials for my base. Hoping to expand a bit, I considered adding a soundproof bedroom this time.
Spit, spat, kitty cat. I cast a curse to pause like that.
Against my will, I stopped dead in my tracks. I was under a freeze spell. Did you follow me all the way here? Don't you have, like, something better to do? Like contract a candy house or eat a pair of little German twins?
I'm looking for a feline familiar, and as a cat, you're just my type.
Wait a second, you're asking me to hench for you? I don't hench, you witch. I'm a hero. I swung my Catito blade in the air, but the witch was unbothered. It didn't help that I was unfamiliar with anything but my beloved rapier.
Get away from the cat, you old crone.
An ogre burst onto the scene, shooing the hag away with his mighty green hand. Shrek!
Somebody once told me you're in a bit of trouble.
I miss my sharpest tool in the shed. good.
That big old Jack Horner is a big jerk, Horner. We'll get your sword back, Puss. I promise you.
I need a cat nap.
And I need some onions. Say, does your base serve some good old Scottish scran?
I think that means food, and see, let's go grab a bite. From day 4 to day 5, Shrek and I caught up over battered fish and onion rings.
And so I said, open ye gutties and listen, you idiot. You're wasting me time with your blethering.
Am I just tired, or did none of that make any sense?
I'll have to get you up to speed with all the ogre lingo.
That's when I heard a voice from outside.
Baker's delivery for Puss in Boots.
Oh, those must be the muffins I ordered from the Muffin Man. When you're drinking this much tavern dairy, you need a little something solid for your stomach.
Ask if they've got any sludge muffins. Me mum used to make them when I was a wee sprout.
I answered the door with glee.
Puss in Boots?
I'm the puss with the boots, yes?
Great, 'cause I'm the baker with the blade, and I'm itching to make some baked catalaska.
Oh no, this wasn't any baker, this was Rhubarb, a member of Jack's Baker's Dozen. She charged me with her red Catito blade. Why is your sword red? Is that jam?
Oh, you wish.
My swordsmanship was a little crummy, pun very much intended. No weapon but my rapier would ever feel right in my fluffy paws. A fight this one-sided would need some improvisation. I quickly hid out of sight.
Wait, where'd Puss in Boots go? And where'd this random ginger cat come from?
Shrek, now! Shrek bonked Rhubarb over the head. Defeated, she dropped her red Catito blade to the floor.
Well, did she bring any bread? Shame she's got all that jam on her sword. There's nothing to spread it on.
I don't think you want to eat that, Shrek.
You're right. I'm gonna go finish those onion rings.
From day 6 to day 8, I traversed the fairy tale forest, shocked to find an unchaperoned gaggle of sheep. Where's Little Bo Peep, your shepherd? She didn't lose sight of you guys again, did she? She always seems to do that. I ushered the sheep to follow me home, but our trek was soon halted by a horner.
Like my new crossbow? I got one recommissioned ever since you eviscerated my last one. Look, it even says, "For good guys only" on it. That's how you know I'm a good guy.
Where's Little Bo Peep, Jack?
I was getting real sick of randos like her cramping my style with the whole size before name shtick. First it was the Muffin Man's kid, Little Miss Muffet. Then it was Little Bo Peep. Next, Little Red Riding Hood. What's with all these little heroes, huh? What about big heroes like me? Big Jack Horner.
What did you do to Bo Peep and Muffet?
I didn't do anything. The crossbow did. Now say hello to my little friend. What's little cat in Spanish?
Gadito?
Gatata.
Jack opened fire with his automatic crossbow, already chewing into a few of my lives. I knew Jack wouldn't stop until he took every last one of my lives, so I fled back to my base, dodging his arrows all the way home. From day 9 to day 10, I sulked to Shrek in private. I can't believe I, Puss in Boots, keep fleeing in the face of danger. It's just, without my special rapier, I'm nothing. Famous, fearless hero. More like, I don't know, unfamous, fearful loser.
Don't say that, Puss. You're one of the greatest feline heroes of all time. In fact, you're the only feline hero I've seen, except for that other famous orange cat, the one who eats lasagna.
I hate that guy.
But we love ye. So much, in fact. And I've started to build you something special. Follow me and take a peek.
Shrek led me to a statue he'd begun to construct, but I couldn't quite make out what it was yet. Wow, neat. I didn't know you were a sculptor.
Living in the swamps all day gives you lots of mud to work with. It's like pottery clay. Anyways, I don't think you need that special rapier of yours to be a successful hero. I just think you need a wee bit of practice and to try out some other things.
I don't think anything could replace my favorite rapier.
Don't be moping. I planted some magic beans and a giant purple tree grew out of them. I even hollowed it out and inside made you a training room and an armory to flex your kitty skills. I also installed a furnace so we can eat your leche drinks to the most delicious potential.
Magic beans, eh? I heard of those before. Thought it was just a myth, but I guess even a cat is wrong sometimes. As for now, I'll take a shot at that warm leche you just mentioned. Thanks, Shrek. You're the bestest ogre a cat could know. From day 11 to day 12, Big Jack Horner was stewing in his villain's lair.
Who put up the sign that says Villain's Lair? This is the hero's hangout. We've gone over this, Baker number 9.
Once he was finished telling off that unfortunate minion, he retired to his inner sanctum to admire my stolen sword.
At last, at long, long last, Puss's favorite rapier is mine. Little Miss Muffet, check. Little Bo Peep, check. Little Red Riding Hood, check, check, check. I'm just a few fairy tale heroes short until the last one standing is me. Soon, I'll be the world's most famous fearless hero, because I'll be the only famous fearless hero, and I've got Puss's sword to prove it.
A henchman heard all the commotion and came in to check on their blowhard of a boss.
You finished scheming in here, boss? Terra Miss You needs some help with the cookies you've been prepping for your big heroic win. The first time you tried to fire her, her tongue got permanently burnt, so she can't really taste anything.
I'm not scheming, I'm beaming. Beaming with jovial good guy joy. Now, go fire her for real this time. She hung up a sign that says Villain's Lair.
If you don't want this place to read like a bad guy's den, you should really consider ditching the gothic purple.
Please, it's a non-malicious move. Now shoo, Fly Pie, and take her out Hansel and Gretel style. If those twins could push a woman into an oven and still be considered heroes, then so can I.
From day 13 to day 15, I fled to the dry desert, hoping to get that witch off my tail for good. She just wouldn't leave me alone, and I was sick of losing sleep over her circling my base, endlessly cackling all night. Aren't witches supposed to melt when you throw water at them? Why did I just lead us to the most waterless place in the overworld? What made me do that?
Can't think straight without your hero sword. Come, be my familiar. It is quite the reward.
Quit rhyming!
Old nursery rhymes will soon be a dream, turned upside down as villains will reign supreme.
I'd rather die 9 lives than work for you.
That can be arranged. Now let me riddle you with mange.
The witch began pelting me with a slew of harmful potions. If I wasn't willing to be her familiar in cat form, I definitely didn't want to serve her as a toad. Though it wasn't my trusty rapier, I drew the red Catito blade and began to strike back. Though it wasn't my best swordsmanship, my cat-like reflexes allowed me to dodge with swift ease. A sword covered in this much jam sure makes me hungry for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. With one final blow, the villainous witch was finally defeated. That nasty old hag took quite a few hearts, but her magical demise granted me bigger in size and, in fact, 30 more lives. I've also got a new claw attack, in case Jack Horner tries to sword me in the back. Oh no, I'm rhyming! This is less than subliming! From day 16 to day 19, I went where Puss in Boots had never gone before, into the mines with a stone pickaxe in hand, instead of a sword. I'll need some stronger material if I want to craft a temporary replacement sword for my famous heroic rapier. I was on the hunt for iron, and I stumbled upon a cavern that was abundant with it. There were also some strange crystals that I had never seen before. Maybe these could be used to build a rare and special weapon? I approached the crystals to try and harvest them, but quickly realized that they were alive, and they were angry. It was a small army of grottles. The gemstone mob swarmed me and tried to snap at me with their pincers. So I drew my Catito blade and broke out some of my famous Puss in Boots style of swashbuckling swordplay. Fear me if you dare, grottles, for I am Puss in Boots. There were a whole bunch of grottles, so I dodged around the cavern, making sure not to get cornered by my multiple opponents. I soon defeated the mobs and decided that sticking to iron as a building material was probably my best bet for now. Iron doesn't come to life and try to attack you. That's true even in most fairy tales. I gathered and smelted enough iron ore to replace my stone pickaxe and Catito blade with an iron pickaxe, iron chestplate, and an iron Catito blade V2. It's like an arts and crafts day, though the art that I'm crafting for is the art of war. From day 20 to day 22, I practiced my fencing skills with my new Catito blade version 2. Hard at work in the training room Shrek built for me, but no matter what I tried, no slash, slice, or dice felt as natural as it did with my long-lost rapier.
Aye, me wee kitty. Sorry to interrupt, but we've got a big problem at the bar.
Big, as in...
Big Jack Horner's here to order one hot steaming tin of Hero's humble pie.
Hit the road, Jack. We never gave you an invite.
I'm no vampiric villain, Puss. I don't need an invitation to enter. Interesting pub you've got here. What snacks do you serve, other than cat kibble?
Horner-sized knuckle sandwiches. I bounced across the table, ferociously swiping my sharpened claws. Jack and I immediately engaged in a tavern tussle, hand-to-paw combat. But when he pulled out my famous rapier, I stopped dead in my tracks.
Think you're still a hero? Well, we'll see who's at the end of this blade come the final chapter. Ta-ta, Gadito. Those 30 hearts will be in the negatives the next time I'm finished with you.
I'm so glad I'm taking the back seat in this narrative for a change, Latticat. You don't realize the weight of being a main protagonist until you're watching it from the sidekick's eyes.
Well, if you're my donkey, then I'm your Shrek, and together, we'll make things right. From day 23 to day 26, I found an old guitar mixed in the weapons in the armory. Is this Shrek's? I didn't know he played, but I guess if you're alone in the swamp for long enough, you pick up every hobby you can think of. I decided to clean and tune the guitar so that I could play a few quality jams from the golden old days. What should I play first? Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin? I'm a Believer by Smash Mouth? Ooh, maybe I should play All-Star by Smash Mouth. Or what if I played Hang On by Smash Mouth? That last one wasn't in the Shrek movie, was it? Yeah, it was in Cat in the Hat. And I'm Puss in Boots. I played guitar all afternoon, and I was actually starting to get pretty good at it. Wow, now I'm a musician. Is there anything I can't do if I practice at it for a couple days? And I'm always willing to give new adventures a try. You can see for yourself by searching Zozo to find my other incredible videos. And if you've got any ideas on what I should do next, my cat ears are wide open. That's Zozo to more of my videos. From day 27 to day 31, I partied away at the bar, playing to an audience of several sheep and a single Shrek. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your eyes open, Shrek. Eyes open!
Aye? Oh, sorry. It wasn't that Josette was boring. I just started counting sheep, and you know what happens from there.
Did you need me to dial up the volume?
Sure, but I could really use some help taking that statue up a notch too. I ran out of mud blocks the other day, and if we want to see it get anywhere near finished, we're gonna have to get extra. I've got tons of that stuff back to me swamp, but if you could bring your traveling band to the marshlands and bring some back for me, it'd be much appreciated.
Say no more, Shrek. My little cat boot should protect my paws from the sludge. I trekked to Shrek's home swamp, wading through the muck. But upon arrival, I was shocked to find it occupied by another member of the Baker's Dozen.
And if we put some curtains here and an enchanted garden there, oh, forget it. This is a terrible place to set up Jack's new living quarters. For a hero, Shrek's home doesn't quite scream inviting. It actually makes me want to scream in horror.
What are you doing in Shrek's swamp?
Shrek's protagonist's stardom is about to be solar eclipsed. It's only fair Jack takes his famous house with it.
This place isn't for sale. Open house, closed.
Just like I'm about to close the book on your story.
Jack's henchman Baker and I duked it out in the swampy marsh. But like gurgling quicksand, his human-sized body too heavy for the muck, I took advantage of his decreased speed and destroyed him. These muck-resistant boots really did come in handy. Now, without distraction, I gathered up mud blocks into my small, kitty-sized paws. From day 32 to day 35, I learned all too well that there were dangerous things lurking in the swamp when a crocodile jumped out to attack me. I used my claw attack to make it back off for a second. Then I drew my Catito Blade V2. In a while, crocodile, the swamp-dwelling beast snapped and snarled. But with my sword, I sent it packing on a one-way trip to nowhere. How does Shrek spend so much time in swamps like this one? They're so dangerous. But not too dangerous for a brave and heroic cat like Puss in Boots. A sidekick wouldn't last one day out here. Just as I said that, I saw Donkey emerge from among the swamp plants. Hey, Donkey!
You talking about me?
Yeah, you're Shrek's friend, right?
Who's Shrek? I think you may have me confused with someone else.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were the donkey and not just a different talking donkey.
I don't know any other talking donkeys except for myself. I'm just out here looking for waffle mix and waffle toppings for my waffles.
You're making waffles?
How did you know that?
Tell you what, donkey, I'll help you with your waffles, and then I'll introduce you to Shrek. I think the two of you might just get along.
Well, alright, but fair warning, the waffle ingredients are said to be in a bad land, a really bad land. You might even say these are eroded badlands.
Eroded Badlands, waffle mix, different donkey, got it. From day 36 to day 39, I entered the eroded Badlands and saw exactly how bad and eroded they could be. This biome is more like bye, I want to go home. That's the classic Puss in Boots wit that I'm famous for. Amidst the ruinous landscape, I glimpsed a general store where I had a feeling I could buy some waffle mix for my new donkey friend. Not exactly the quest I was expecting. There's no steep climbs up a brimstone ridge, no rickety bridge over a boiling lake of lava, no deadly dragon to slay. Hey, sometimes going to the store itself is an adventure. I walked through the front door and was greeted by the clerk.
Welcome. Do you need help finding anything?
What aisle is the waffle mix?
It would be in aisle 1, the sweets aisle.
Thank you. I proceeded to aisle 1 and found the waffle mix and waffle toppings I was looking for. Huzzah! Now I can return to Donkey with his breakfast from a few days ago. I headed towards the counter to pay for the treats, but then a Dread Knight burst in through the front door. He drew a sword and approached the clerk with a mad look on his helmeted face.
Give me everything you've got in the register. This is a robbery.
What? But you're a knight. I thought you guys were honorable.
Times have changed. Big Jack Horner is a good guy now, so that means I'm a bad guy. Now give me everything you've got, or I'll slice you up into little pieces.
From day 40 to day 43, I sprung into action so that I could thwart the Dread Knight's robbery. I came here to buy waffle mix and fight knights, and now I'm going to do both of those things in no particular order.
What the? Who are you?
I'm Puss in Boots. Pray for mercy.
Mercy? You're the one who'll need mercy from me. Without your sword, even a down-and-out knight like me can beat you in a sword fight.
I mean, probably not, but I have to admire your confidence. I drew my Catito Blade V2, and the two of us clashed in a sword fight that had us running up and down the aisle, swinging at each other. The formerly heroic knight was tough and had some strong defenses from his armor, but I was quick and nimble, winning the battle through speed instead of power. With some of my signature acrobatic moves, I put a swift end to the ill-fated Dread Knight. He should have been the one to dread me. I walked up to the counter with the waffle stuff, and the clerk came back out from hiding behind the counter. I'd like to purchase these, please.
Those are free for you, hero. You saved me and my store.
Woohoo! Though, honestly, the eroded Badlands are probably a really tricky place to have a business. I returned to Donkey with the waffle mix, and he thanked me for my trouble.
Thanks. Now I can actually make waffles in the morning instead of eating grass for days.
Glad to help, Donkey. From day 44 to day 49, I returned from my perilous breakfast quest. Gathered up from his swamp, I brought back lots of mud blocks for Shrek. He was pleased to start work on his statue again, even if it was still shrouded in magical mystery.
Thank you, me feline friend. While I was off screen, I planted some more magic beans and an entire perimeter wall grew for protection. It should keep Jack and his bakers out, if not for a wee bit. Oh no, being a sidekick would allow me this much free time.
Did you hang up any no villains allowed signs? That could surely keep them away for good.
No villains allowed? Puss, this guy thinks he's the protagonist. I had to load the place with no hero signs in hopes he'd fall for some reverse psychology. I guess that makes us a sitting target for more villains who actually think they're villains. But all this heroes and bad guys stuff is getting awfully confusing. Oh, my ogre brain.
It's okay, Shrek. Stop thinking. Let's just look at your almost finished statue for a bit. It looks good.
Good versus evil.
Alright, that's enough morality talk for the day. Maybe you should just count more sheep again. From day 50 to day 53, I heard an explosion and thunder of footsteps as Big Jack's baker's dozens were throwing bombs at my base. Those signs really didn't do anything. What are you guys doing here at the house of Puss in Boots?
We're under orders from Big Jack himself to distract you. Well, something else happens you won't expect.
Well then, I guess I'll have to expect the unexpected. And I expected you to be distracting me from the unexpected. So what I wouldn't expect now is for you to be the real plan and not the distraction. So that's what I expect now, I think.
Well, that didn't make a lick of sense.
I'll show you a lick after I take you all down in the fightiest fight you've ever fought. On guard, I'm Puss in Boots. With my claws and Catito Blade version 2, I reduced the baker's dozen to a baker's wasn't. Haha! There's more of that Puss in Boots wit. Wait, did they say something about being a distraction? That's when I saw Big Jack Horner taking Shrek away from my base at sword point.
Don't try any funny business, or the ogre gets it. And by it, I mean dead.
Shrek, no! Shrek was being taken away, and somehow the baker's dozen revived again to keep me even more distracted. I defeated all of them again, and could feel more of my heroic instincts returning as my hearts increased to 32. I don't know why, but I feel like I could really climb a wall right now. I tried climbing a wall and realized I had gained some of Puss in Boots' wall climbing powers. Magnifico! From day 54 to day 57, I was forced to complete the side quest of fixing up my base before completing my main quest of saving Shrek from the evil, or quote-unquote good, Jack Horner's clutches. After a proper spiff, I rushed back to the swamps to see if Shrek was being held there, but to my surprise, the baker's dozen were nowhere to be found. Huh, I guess Jack settled on a different place to live. That's when the donkey, no, not that donkey, appeared again.
Oh yeah, the swamps are no place for a good guy like Jack.
Donkey? What do you mean by good guy?
You know, big-hearted Jack Horner, the biggest hero the fairy tale forest has ever seen.
Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that, donkey?
He brought me toaster waffles, Puss. I don't need to painstakingly mix waffle batter anymore. I only have hooves, so holding a whisk made cooking incredibly hard. You know, I applied to be Jack's new sidekick, but the position was already taken by some green ogre guy with a vaguely Scottish accent.
Shrek! That's my sidekick, Shrek! Do you have any idea where they're headed now?
You mean your ex-henchman, Shrek? No idea. All I know is that Jack settled in a place far, far away from these mucky, goop-filled grounds. Heroes don't get their boots dirty, and Jack's hands are impeccably clean.
That's because other people do his dirty work for him. Don't worry, Shrek. I'll save you from that purple-thumbed pie-eater. From day 58 to day 62, I remembered this was still a Minecraft video, and that's why I was in the mines. I'd better get some diamond gear. Don't want to look like a noob in front of the YouTube commenters. I'd never hear the end of it. With my iron pickaxe, I dug a deeper hole into the mine by breaking stone blocks. I knew I could find diamonds if I could only find an area where diamonds were. Oh no, this isn't a diamond area, it's a thorn wolf area. Somehow or other, there was a pack of ravenous thorn wolves in the mine, and they all started attacking me at once. Anything but thorn wolves. They're like the complete opposite of diamonds if you really think about it. Well, okay, not if you think about it that much, but still, they are very different. My claw attacks would expose me to the thorn damage from these wolves, so I relied on my sword to chip away at their hit points until they were all pruned away. That was one thorny situation, and a wolfy one too. I had then fought enough mobs that the universe decided to cut me a break and reward me with a cave full of shimmering diamonds. Now this is a diamond area. Might as well call me Puss in Diamonds, because I've got so many diamonds now. Diamonds for days, diamonds for life, diamonds forever. Or yeah, at least enough diamonds to craft myself a diamond pickaxe and a diamond Catito blade. That'll do, diamonds, that'll do. From day 63 to day 66, I returned to my lonely base when I had an itch for climbing again, so I climbed on top of it it and gazed upon the unfinished statue before me. If only it had been completed before Shrek was taken. If it was a statue of him, maybe I wouldn't feel so lonely. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. Wish I may, I wish I might, have this wish I wish tonight. I stared into the sky, but oddly enough, there were no stars to be seen. Oh, I get it. Now that my all-star's gone, it seems that all the stars have gone with him. Deep down in my furry chest, I knew I'd get my sidekick back, but life without Shrek was anything but a fairy tale. I'm confident in a happy ending for both of us. I guess you could say that, I'm a believer. One of Snow White's birdies told me that every time someone subscribes, a star appears back into the sky. So subscribe to Zozo on YouTube, and maybe, with enough stars, it'll light not only the sky, but the fire in my heart to save Shrek. From day 67 to day 70, I traveled to the surprisingly hero-coded biome of the Mojave Desert. Seemed like somebody could really start a journey from here. Wow, this place is so unthreatening and peaceful. I can imagine there being a small town here or a humble farm that is just out of the way. But then the big outside world and its big problems come to roost, causing an untested youth to rise and leave to become who they were meant to be, but also always were in a way. Over the next lush rolling hill, I could see the noble factory of big-hearted Jack Horner, where the hero of the realm dwelled. No wait, he even had me fooled for a second there. I have to get into that place and get my sword back, and Shrek too. The baker's dozen were guarding the gateway as expected, but I trusted my cat-like instincts to be able to sneak by them. My new wall climbing ability would be clawsome to use right now. Oh wow, I just can't get enough of that famous Puss in Boots wit. I climbed over the wall of the factory. Oh man, even the stone bricks look like they are ready to fight evil. Jack Horner really went all out in designing this place. I counted less than a dozen of the baker's dozen outside, so I knew the rest of them would be waiting inside. I fought my way past them whenever they got in my way. Not so distracting now, are you?
Curse you, Zozo and Boots. Curse you and your ability to accurately count groups of people.
Pray for mercy. From day 71 to day 74, I tiptoed through the halls of Big Jack Horner's factory. It wasn't long before I came face to face with one of its more memorable staff members. You nasty old hag. I thought I defeated you. You have a face I'd never forget. Wait, why do you look so much younger and less green?
Nasty old hag? What a villainous insult. I'm Rosina Leckermaul, the friendly sorceress with a youthful glow. See my card.
Wait, you're not looking for a familiar anymore?
A familiar? Oh, darling, please. Only thing I'm familiar with are enchanted facials, cuticle trimmings, and mixing Jack's signature plum-colored hair dye in the perfect shade every time.
So you're no longer evil?
Evil? If I were so evil, why would I give you this chest of beauty-enhancing gifts? You're looking awfully mangy. There's some flea spray in there if you need it.
I opened the chest to find a renegade chest plate. I was feeling a little underdressed in a place so lavish, so I was sure to equip the chest plate right away.
Beautiful, darling. You'll blend right in.
Hopefully well enough to sneak by any more guards. Thanks, Rosina. You are surprisingly helpful.
If I'm not helpful, what kind of hero am I?
From day 75 to day 78, I made it to the tallest tower of the factory, where Shrek was currently being held in a dismal dungeon. Or not? What the heck? Why is this place so luxurious and nice? There are silk pillows and a jacuzzi, not to mention all the pies an ogre could eat.
You gotta get me out of here, laddie. Jack Horner is feeding me pies made from berries and fruits, but I miss me weed rat and onion pies.
I don't know, Shrek. Are you sure you want to leave? Maybe we should take a quick dip in the jacuzzi before we go.
Ugh, gross. It's pure spring water in there, with chlorine. I have to sit in swamp mud when I get home to wash away the indignity.
All right, you've convinced me. Sort of. You get out of here. I'll stay behind to, look for my sword. I'll bet it's in the jacuzzi, so I'm gonna look in there for an hour. Shrek made his way out of the tower while I settled down to enjoy the hot water of the tower jacuzzi. It just don't get no no better than this. I was about to close my eyes and relax when big-hearted Jack Horner stormed into the room.
Oh, Shrek, where did my wisecracking ogre sidekick go? And what is a mangy cat doing in my jacuzzi?
Oh, snap!
Zozo, you've got real nerve attacking the hero's base. That's a real villain move, and I should know, because I'm a hero, of course.
Well, if you're such a hero, you won't even need to worry when I do this. I leaped from the tub and used my claw attack to push Big Jack out the open window. He began to fall to his doom. Have you ever noticed how so many villains meet their end by falling? Just something to look out for. Anyway, it's too dangerous to find my sword now, so I'm heading home. I left the base without looking to see if Jack actually met his demise from the fall. From day 79 to day 84, Big Jack Horner was falling from the window I shoved him out of.
Well, I suppose this is my final chapter. I should have known villains don't get happy endings, and that good always prevails, and that evil knows no virtue. Goodbye, cruel world. This Big Jack Horner is about to become a little speck in the universe's grand, just plan. And that's what I would have said if I were a villain. But oh, how the tables have turned. This fall won't break me yet, because now that I'm a protagonist, I've got a little something called plot armor.
Jack survived the fall, naturally, because he was the hero in his own mind.
Yes. Watch as my heart grows 3 times as large. I'm not calculated. I'm caring. I'm not harmful. I'm humane. Not Big Jack Horner. Not big-hearted Jack Horner. I'm biggest-hearted Jack Horner.
From day 85 to day 89, I followed the ogre trail that Shrek had left all the way back to the base. By the way, please don't ask me what an ogre trail is in the comments of this video. Shrek was already inside the base, cooking up one of his classic swamp meals. He must have really missed doing things his way when he was being spoiled by big-hearted Jack Horner.
A bit of banana slug, some toadstool squeezings, salamander toes. Oh, hey, Zozo, I didn't see you there.
Hey there, Shrek. That's one delicious meal you're cooking up.
I'm about to get a bit of heat with this fire enchantment. It makes the salamander toes nice and crispy. You should try it.
Not to be rude, but I think I'm good.
I was talking about the enchantment, not the toes. Those are all for me.
Shrek gave me a book of fire enchantment, which I would be able to use to give my diamond sword some extra damage in the form of fire. Now I'm one caliente cat. Big Jack better be ready for a barbecue the next time we fight. It had since occurred to me that the pretend hero had probably survived that fall and was out for revenge. But the important thing was that Shrek was back, and I could ask him for advice. So, Shrek, what do you think Big Jack's weakness is? Considering you were in his factory for so long, you must know something.
Layers.
Huh?
You got to have layers to beat him, like an onion.
Is that really the secret?
Yes, it's layers, laddie.
I set out for the convenience store in the eroded Badlands to go get some layers for myself. From day 90 to day 94, I arrived back at the convenience store, but unfortunately for me, it had fallen under new management. What have you done with the clerk?
Whatever do you mean? I'm the owner of this humble slow service store. Didn't you know convenience is the root of all evil? It's all handouts and immediate gratification. It doesn't allow the hero to work towards anything.
Who are you?
The last of the baker's dozen, of course. Lucky number 13.
13 isn't a lucky number. That's like the epitome of unlucky numbers. Why do you think hotels don't include it as an available floor? Why do you think elevators are always missing the button 13? Why do you think they made a horror movie called Friday the 13th?
Ah, I'm a hero, you hear me? The benevolent baker. That's me. I'm that guy.
The baker's onesin charged me with his cleaver, but luckily for me, he was unfortunately cursed with, you guessed it, bad luck. With a single swipe of my claws, the last of the dozen had fallen. Clean up on aisle 1. Behind the counter lay a couple of conspicuous chests. I opened it up to reveal not an onion, but a pair of Outback leggings. How is this? Oh, Shrek meant layers in the literal sense. Clever. This time, I just can't get enough of that classic Shrek wit. From day 95 to day 97, I brought the donkey to my base so that he could meet Shrek. When I noticed the statue was finished. It was a statue of me, and it looked amazing. But of course it looks amazing, since I look amazing. I just wish I had such a rapier as well. Shrek and Donkey were reunited, but the two of them didn't really have much in common, or have much interest in hanging out. I thought it was cool to see them next to each other. Later on, Donkey asked me a question I wasn't expecting. It seemed he still didn't quite know what the plot of this video was.
So you've captured me, right? This is a villain thing where you put me down in some dungeon and Jack comes to rescue me?
Donkey, I'm not the villain. I'm Puss in Boots, and Jack is…
Look, man, all I know is some cat with a sinister lair took me to meet his ogre henchman. I'm just rolling with the punches at this point.
I haven't kidnapped you.
Of course not. I'm not a baby goat. I'm a donkey. You donkey napped me.
Well, I didn't do that either.
Well, fine. If you didn't want to steal my feral soul crossbow, that would be a perfect weapon for a villain to take on big-hearted Jack Horner. I don't even know why I'm here.
Can I have that crossbow?
See? I knew it. I knew this was a donkey napping situation. Go ahead and take the crossbow, you feline villain.
Donkey handed over the feral soul crossbow, a weapon that would most certainly aid me in my battle against Big Jack Horner, who was the bad guy. Just in case anybody didn't know at this point, I'm the good guy and he's the bad guy. It should be obvious to anyone who has watched to this timestamp. On day 98, I decided now would be a better time than ever to take a brief break from all the fairy tale chaos and shout out a little something more non-fiction, like the Zozo YouTube channel. If you like adventure, battles, Minecraft, and more, be sure to search Zozo on YouTube to join me in plenty more heroic escapades, or villainous escapades. I don't know where I am on the morality scale right now, but I'm Zozo, and I'm cool, so you should watch more videos. Be sure to leave a comment about who you want to see me turn into next. Maybe as another famous cat, like that awful lasagna eating one or something. On day 99, I returned to the comfortable Shire of the Mojave Desert and made my way into the shining factory on the hill, wherein lay my most epic foe, awaiting our final showdown, the totally not heroic and not good-hearted biggest-hearted Jack Horner. Today I get back both things that you stole from me, my noble blade and my status as the greatest hero this land has ever known.
Shut your trap, you little… your wicked scheme stop here, you vile evildoer! I will not let you destroy my overworld and, all that.
If your heart isn't in this, you can…
My heart? Huh, there's nothing my heart isn't in. My heart is as big as the universe now, and I'm going to use it to crush you into a cat pancake and send you to the heavy side layer.
It's about time that I powered up with my own special item. I donned the Outback leggings that I had bought at the convenience store and became a layered Puss in Boots with 100 hearts and a super high jump. Fear me if you dare.
I dare? I'm the most daring hero around, especially because I still have the hero's blade.
Biggest Jack drew out my famous rapier, and our legendary battle began. Thanks to my many layers, my defenses were higher than ever, and yet, at the same time, Big Jack's biggest heart let him keep attacking without slowing down. I ignited my Diamond Katito Blade Fire enchantment and slashed away, but the heat was starting to make me feel dizzy too. Jack Horner thrust forward with my heroic blade, but I used my boosted jump to leap away. I pulled out the feral soul crossbow and unleashed its full volley on the real bad guy. Now, it's Ogre!
This is all wrong. The hero doesn't die at the end. I want a do-over. Where's my triumph?
But this was not the story Biggest Jack Horner thought it was, because I was the hero of this one, Puss in Boots, and I had taken back my hero's blade. The bigger they are, the harder they fail. On day 100, my sidekick Shrek and his sidekick Donkey threw the biggest party of the century, celebrating Jack Horner's inevitable defeat. When I say hey now, you say all-star. Hey now.
I don't know that song. I guess we're the real all-star heroes of our story, aren't we, Puss in Boots?
DreamWorks makes the teamwork. Now prepare for the end credit dance party.
Am I still donkey napped?